The edifice is a national cultural asset. Tafa Balewa Square, Souq Enlightenment.
Hello and welcome to Souq News Television. We're reaching you live from our studios in Lagos. I am Olumide Shokoya. Now straight to the news. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, has urged more participation from the South-South and the Southeast regions in student loan scheme, noting that economic importance of inclusive access to higher education funding during a stakeholder workshop in Abuja. Managing Director Akintunde Sawyer said the loan program is key to building a skilled workforce that can support regional and national business growth. Sawyer explained that automating the loan system will create a more efficient, transparent structure that will benefit not only students but also institutions and industries relying on well-trained graduates. He emphasized that proper use of fund would reduce financial pressure on families and improve the talent pipeline for Nigeria's economy, especially in regions with growing business potential. Ifeoluwa Ahindera, head of the House Committee on Student Loan and Higher Education Financing, added that the system overhaul would support long-term economic development. With over 170 billion worth of loan applications already received, NEL Fund says timely and wide participation, especially in Southeast and South-South, will help bridge regional education gaps and fuel local enterprise and innovation. Now, farmers in Osun, Ekiti, and Ondo State are worried as rainy season begins. Many say they cannot find unskilled workers to help on their farms, and prices of farming tools and inputs have gone up. Some laborers have left farming for other jobs like motorcycle transport, making it harder to prepare for planting. The farmers also complain that bad roads, lack of tractors, and not having enough money to buy seeds and fertilizers, while some states like Osun are helping with tractors and seedlings. Many farmers in the other areas say they are left on their own. They fear food shortage if help does not come soon. Experts and farmer leaders are calling on the government to provide soft loans, farm machines, and security. They also advise farmers to form groups, share labor, and use cheaper farming methods. Without strong support, they warn the country may face low food supply in the coming months. Now, the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME result by the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAM, show that over 1.5 million out of 1.95 million candidates scored below 200. With only 420,415 scoring above 200 and less than 1% above 300. Education stakeholders are raising concern about the country's talent pipeline and long-term economic growth. Experts warn that poor academic performance at this level can limit the pool of skilled workers available for future jobs, especially in tech, healthcare, and engineering, sectors critical to Nigeria's economic development. Businesses may face higher costs in training and recruitment, while universities and private education providers may need to invest in more remedial education, raising operational expenses. With underage candidates showing a low exceptional performance and rising cases of exam malpractice and under investigation, investor confidence in the education sector may weaken. A poorly prepared workforce can slow productivity, discourage foreign investment, and reduce the country's ability to compete globally, making education reform an urgent economic priority. On the foreign scene, Turkey's inflation rate dropped for the 11th month in a row, falling slightly to 37.9% in April from 38.1% in March. The Turkish Statistical Office said the prices are still rising month by month, with a 3% jump in April alone. The cost of education, housing, health, and restaurant went up the most. The country has battled high inflation since 2019, making life tough for many people. In May 2024, inflation peaked at over 75%, but it has slowly dropped. The central bank had cut interest rate, but raised them again to 46% in response to political unrest after the jailing of Istanbul's mayor, Ekrem İmamoğlu. His arrest caused big protest and pushed the lira to a record low of 38 to the dollar. This weak currency makes imported goods more costly. Some experts say the real inflation rate is much higher than official numbers, warning that Turkey may struggle to reach its inflation target of 24% by year-end. Media stocks in U.S. dropped on Monday after President Donald Trump said a 100% tariff will be placed on all movies made outside the country. This move, though still lacking full details, could make it more expensive for Hollywood studios and cause problems for the global film industry. The announcement left many questions unanswered. It did not explain if the tariff will apply to movies on streaming platforms like Netflix or those in cinemas. It also didn't say if any tax will be based on production cost or ticket sale. Still, industry experts believe this could hurt studios that film abroad to save money. Netflix shares fell 4.9%, leading a drop in media stock prices. Other major companies like Disney, Warner Bros., and Comcast also saw declines. Many studios have shifted production to countries like the United Kingdom, Canada, due to tax break and lower cost. A forced return to the U.S. could push production costs much higher. And that's a wrap on the world news on Souq News Television. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at Souq News TV. I am Olumide Shokoya. Do have a lovely afternoon.
Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS. Tafawa Balewa Square was initially used as a horsing ground called Lagos Race Course. The edifice was constructed by General Yakubu Gowon in 1972 and named after Nigeria's first Prime Minister, Sir Tafawa Balewa. Tafawa Balewa Square is located at 45/57 Marse Bangboshe Street on Lagos Island, Lagos, and referred to as TBS. TBS is a 50,000-seater capacity venue and houses the Remembrance Arcade, the 26-story Independence House, which at a time was the country's tallest building. When Lagos served as the country's seat of government, the National Assembly Complex was within the TBS. Also in the square are the National Broadcasting Commission Office, the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency Office, shopping centers, travel agencies, restaurants, car parking lots, and a bus terminal. Tafawa Balewa Square is adorned with beautiful statues of white horses and red eagles, symbols of strength and dignity. Our historic neighbors include the King's College and the Holy Cross Cathedral. Tafawa Balewa Square hosted some of the country's memorable events such as the Independence Day in 1960 when Nigeria gained independence from Britain, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which is celebrated annually on January 15. The edifice is a national cultural asset. Tafawa Balewa Square, Souq Enlightenment. According to the former UBA Group Managing Director, Mr. Kennedy Uzoka, he's a man that knows it all. Also, another described him as an encyclopedia of knowledge. The both are now farther from the truth of a man whose career has spanned over 4 decades, being part of a dozen organizations in both the banking and manufacturing sectors, serving in different capacities as either a director, board member, or chairman of organizations such as Honeywell Flour Mills plc, PZ Cussons plc, Nigerian Breweries plc, and United Bank for Africa plc. In the same vein, he also had some link with the British American Tobacco Nigerian Foundation and Nutrisima Limited. He was once the president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, where he clamored for the patronization of local content by all well-meaning Nigerians. Also, he served as chairman of the former Universal Trust Bank plc (UTB) before the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo implemented the recapitalization of banks in Nigeria. Born Kolawole Babalola Jamodu on February 9, 1944 in Odo Ere, Yagba West local government area of the present Kogi State. Kola Jamodu attended St. Paul's Primary School in Intimate City College from 1958 to 1961. Harvard Business School, Boston, Massachusetts, United States of America from 1986 to 1987. His mother was Mrs. Fumi Olabinwonu. Not much was known about his father. At an early age, Kolawole showed an uncanny drive for knowledge and learning, which will form a greater part of his adult life. His rise to fame hasn't been without its peculiar episodes of challenges. He started his career with the United African Company of Nigeria, UACN, in 1962. 3 years later, he moved to Lever Brothers Nigeria Limited, now Unilever Nigeria plc, and in 1965, where he received many years of experience of over 10 years in production, commerce, and finance. He later joined PZ Customs Group in 1975 as a group accountant. Chief Kolawole Jamodu, for many who work closely with him, he is a go-getter both in the business arena and an exemplary leader in achieving the corporate governance with a litany of portfolios in diverse sectors. He's a trailblazer practically in many areas. He was the first Nigerian to be appointed as Group Finance Director at PZ. In 1980, he was appointed Chairman, PZ Nigeria Limited, then a trading subsidiary of the PZ Group, while still holding his position as a PZ Group Financial Director. In 1987, he became the first Nigerian Deputy Group Chief Executive, and in 1990, he became the first Nigerian Group Chief Executive of PZ Cussons. Still in 1990, he was appointed Chairman of PZ Cussons plc, becoming the first Nigerian to combine the positions of a Chairman and Chief Executive. He, in 1999, after he had served in that capacity for many years, meritoriously retired but remained on the PZ Board of Directors as Chairman in a non-executive capacity. Known for his strategic touch of class, T2, although his first appointment as Executive Chairman of PZ Cussons was interrupted by his appointment as Minister of Industry in 2001, when PZ went through a tumultuous season in 2013, when revenue nosedived and profit hemorrhaged. Kola Jamodu was on every shareholder's lips, underscoring the confidence reposed in his ability to provide effective leadership hitherto wanting for the company at that time. Known for his knack for having the right strategy to grow business in a difficult market. In his capacity as chairman of Nigerian Breweries PLC, Kola Jamodu led the strategic investment and acquisition that have enabled Nigerian breweries seize key markets from competitors, positioning the company to maintain leading market share, moderate operating costs, and grow wealth for shareholders. In 2014, Nigerian Breweries acquired Consolidated Breweries Limited, with which sales revenue grew by 10% in 2015, even as the total brewed market declined. The company saved cost and defend profit drop in 2015. Jamodu also served as chairman of Universal Trust Bank PLC, a director in Ashaka Cement, and a director in Honeywell Flour Mills PLC. And also, he's been a director of United Bank of Africa since 2007. He's a fellow of Chartered Institute of Accounting, Nigeria, fellow of Chartered Institute of Management Accounts, London, and fellow of Chartered Institute of Secretaries. The name Jamodu trumpets loud and clear in Nigeria's boardroom leadership, owing to his dedicated work and great accomplishments in building businesses. Jamodu has only been a seeker of new challenges, set to brave and break new grounds. Our key takeaways from his tenure as minister highlighted the introduction of various innovative backward integration policies that enabled self-sufficiency in the production of goods like cement and other staples. These moves led to increased foreign direct investment, job creations, and a major boost to national economy and GDP. Dr. Jamodu, after a hiatus from the private sector, was appointed to numerous board positions with reputable multinational companies in Nigeria. For a start, he was reappointed chairman of United Bank for Africa PLC as a non-executive director in 2007. It's worth of note to say that in 2006, Dr. Jamodu was appointed to the board of Nigerian Breweries PLC as a non-executive director and later moved to become chairman in 2008, where he served 17 years meritoriously, spending 15 of those years as board chairman, and on April 30, 2023, retired as chairman of the organization, leaving a legacy of growth, innovation, and continuous success. Under his watch, the Nigerian breweries grew in leaps and bounds, strengthened its brand presence, and continued to drive positive change in the Nigerian breweries sector.
What was achieved during my period was a joint effort, because you can't say a leader if there are no followers. There are committees, and these committees are made of members of man.
Chief Dr. Kola Jamodu is a recipient of several national honors, including Member of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, MFR, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, CFR. Also, he's a recipient of the National Productivity Merit Award, NPMA. Additionally, he's a Chartered Global Management Accountant, CGMA, a Fellow of the Chartered Institute of Management, London, and Fellow of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators. He is also a Distinguished Fellow of the Institute of Directors, Nigeria. During his 4-year stint at the helm of affairs in the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, he served in different capacities like the National Treasurer, Chairman of the Economic Policy Committee, Chairman of the Policy Advocacy Committee, Vice President, and later President from 2010 to 2014. Also, he is the past president of the Harvard Business School Alumni Association of Nigeria, a former president of the Chemical and Non-Metallic Products Employees Foundation, and an honorary member of the Nigerian Industrial Policy and Competitiveness Advisory Council, chaired by the Nigeria's Vice President. He's also served in various capacities such as Member of Council at the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association (NECA), Member of Council at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry (LCCI), and Distinguished Member of the Board of Fellows of the Nigerian Institute of Management (NIM). He is an active member of Ikoyi Club 1938, Lagos Island Club, Lagos Metropolitan Club, Lagos Motor Boat Club, Moderates Club, and Lagos Dining Club, some of Nigeria's most prestigious social organizations. Not many people, prominent or otherwise, could be suitably described as detribalized nationalists like Dr. Kola Jamodu, whose great likeness for all and sundry, cultures and tongues, coupled with his numerous contributions to the growth and development of various communities nationwide, earned him several chieftaincy titles such as Ashiwaju of Ere Kingdom in Kogi State, Are Apashewa of Ere Land, also in Kogi State, Babalaja of Lagos, Boba Gunwa of Enri Land, Kogi State, Maye Bobajiro of Ibadan Land, Oyo State, Barakoyi of Oshobo Land, Osun State, Mayegun of Ayetoro, Wede, Kogi State, Fiwajoye of Mulipa, Jebu-Ode, Ogun State, Ikemba one of Oba Nsuka, Ari of Eruku Land, Kwara State. Jamodu is nothing short of a legend. Although with limited experience in partisan politics, he stood tall and stepped into the plate when occasion presented itself in Kogi State, when he took leadership of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) as minister, serving in the cabinet of the ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo. In the middle of 2020, Chief Dr. Kola Jamodu served as the pioneer chairman of the Elders Advisory Committee (EAC) of Pan-Okun Relief Response Agenda, which played a pivotal role when the world was faced with the coronavirus, mobilizing resources to provide relief materials for the entire Okun people, as well as address various issues relating to the pandemic in the land. He, through the Kola Jamodu Foundation, KJF scholarships are provided to several poor students through all levels of education, primary, secondary, and tertiary levels, medical support to indigents who have genuine medical conditions but couldn't afford to foot the bill. Chief Kola Babalola Jamodu, over the years, his hobbies have been the same: reading, traveling, golf, and badminton. He is married to his sweetheart, Olori Asiwaju of Ere Kingdom, Chief Mrs. Fumilayo Jamodu, and they are blessed with children and grandchildren. Chief Dr. Kola Babalola Jamodu.
Ovia, one of the most influential and successful businessmen in Nigeria, who has made a mark in the financial system. He is the founder and chairman of Zenith Bank, one of Africa's largest and most profitable banks. He has been described by Forbes Africa as the godfather of banking in Nigeria.
My name is Jim Ovia. I'm chairman of Zenith Bank, and I thank you all for listening to me.
This illustrious son of Africa was one of the financial leaders who revolutionized the banking sector in Nigeria. Let's take a close look into the life, background, career, and achievements of this enigma, Jim Ovia. Jim Ovia was born on November 4, 1951 in Agbo, Delta State, Nigeria, to a large family as the second son of Chief Obi Olihe of Agbobi in Delta State. Being one from a humble background, Jim attended local schools as he had lost his father at the tender age of 4. His widowed mother, together with his older brother, saw him through school. He had secondary education at Ika Grammar School in Agbo. Due to his interest in business and technology, he proceeded to the United States to study business administration at Southern University, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, USA, where he obtained a bachelor's degree in 1977. He furthered to University of Louisiana, Monroe, Louisiana, and bagged a master's degree in business administration in 1979. Jim Ovia is also an alumnus of the prestigious Harvard Business School. Jim Ovia worked briefly as a clerk in Union Bank in 1973 before proceeding for tertiary studies. Upon acquiring immense business knowledge from international institutions, he returned to Nigeria, his home country, and began a career in banking. He continued at this for years, working for banks such as Lion Bank, Merchant Bank of Africa, and International Merchant Bank. After many years in the banking industry, in 1990, Jim came together with some colleagues to found one of Africa's largest and most profitable bank, Zenith Bank. The bank was established with a vision to provide excellent customer service, innovative and technology-driven banking. Zenith Bank flourished as it drew customers who sought excellence in financial services. What started with an asset of $4 million and about 50 staff has grown into over $24 billion in assets and shareholders' funds of more than $3 billion as of June 2022. Zenith Bank is listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange and London Stock Exchange. Jim Ovia served as Zenith Bank's Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director from 1990 to 2010, and then Chairman from 2010 to 2014. After a brief break, he returned as Chairman of the bank in 2016 and remains so till date. Under his leadership, Zenith Bank has grown to become one of the leading banks in Nigeria and Africa, standing tall among some of Nigeria's first-generation banks of repute, a feat rare for second-generation banks established in a time of tension between military and civilian regimes and economic instability.
We will build our own roads to our branches if we're building branches in some cities, towns where the roads are not good enough. We have also bought power plants, generating sets to power electricity into our building. When we do all this, we also even had dug borehole to supply water to the building. When we do all this, what I personally call it is BYOI, bring your own infrastructure or build your own infrastructure.
Jim Ovia served as Zenith Bank's Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director from 1990 to 2010, and then Chairman from 2010 to 2014. After a brief break, he returned as Chairman of the bank in 2016 and remains so till date. Under his leadership, Zenith Bank has grown to become one of the leading banks in Nigeria and Africa, standing tall among some of Nigeria's first-generation banks of repute, a feat rare for second-generation banks established in a time of tension between military and civilian regimes. Zenith Bank has diversified its services to include insurance, pensions, stockbroking, and investment banking. The bank has won awards and recognition for its performance, governance, innovation, and social responsibility, inspired by its chairman's belief in giving back to community.
Really, it's my special pleasure, my honor indeed, for this opportunity offered by AAI to be awarded in the category of Business Leadership Award for 2017.
As an entrepreneur, Jim Ovia has made investments in sectors other than banking. They include oil and gas, telecommunication, real estate, power generation, media, and most recently, education. He is the founder and chancellor, James Hope University, Lekki, Lagos State, which has been approved by the National Universities Commission, NUC, to offer postgraduate degrees in business courses. Jim Ovia is a man who believes in giving back to society. He has engaged in philanthropic works through his foundations, Mankind United to support total education, MUSTE, and Youth Empowerment, ICT Foundation. These foundations award scholarships to indigenous students and promote information and communication technology in Nigeria through various initiatives. Ovia has made donations towards courses and institutions. They include Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, Nigerian Internet Group, NIG, Lagos State University, and National Information Technology Advisory Council, just to mention a few. In recognition of his contributions, Jim Ovia is a recipient of many honors and awards. In 2012, the University of Benin awarded him an honorary doctorate degree. Former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2022 conferred him with the national honor of the Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, CFR. Also in 2022, Jim Ovia was conferred with the National Productivity Order of Merit, NPOM award, by the federal government of Nigeria. Jim Ovia is a proud member of the World Economic Forum, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, and the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. He is also a member of several boards and councils.
We can't afford to lose depositors' money. We can't afford to lose money that belongs to stakeholders. So you must structure your industry in such a way that the best and nothing but the best are there.
As chairman of Zenith Bank with more than 9% stake, Jim Ovia in 2015 was estimated by Forbes to have a net worth of $550 million. This net worth obviously has been surpassed since then. Jim Ovia, as a business person, founded 5 companies. They are Zenith Bank PLC, the Quantum Group, Visaphone Communications, Quantum Luxury Properties, Civic Center Towers, and Cyberspace Network. Jim is member, Honorary International Investors Council. Kay Ovier is CEO, Quantum Markets Limited, a firm that offers stock brokerage services. She sits on the board of several organizations and is chairman, board of directors of Cyberspace Limited, a leading software engineering company. Cyberspace Limited is one of the pioneers in provision of internet services in Nigeria, providing network and software services. Kay, being at the head of a tech giant in Nigeria, teamed up with her husband, Jim, to strategically deploy robust IT infrastructure at Zenith Bank, which resulted in the development of digital products and technology-driven banking in Nigeria. Kay is an alumnus of Enugu State University of Technology, Souq, where she holds an MBA in management. She is much given to philanthropy, with several initiatives to transform lives, particularly those of the underprivileged. One of her projects targeted at children and youths, Star Rising Talent Hunt, aims at discovering and projecting hidden talents. Jim is married to businesswoman and philanthropist Kay Ovier. She's also a hotelier, proudly running Starwood Hotels. Jim and Kay Ovier are blessed with 5 children: Isioma, Zephyr, Tito, Tommy, and Jesse. As a family man, Ovier enjoys spending time with his family. He also likes reading and traveling. In order to pass on his vast wealth of knowledge on business and finance to African entrepreneurs, Jim Ovier authored a book titled Africa, Rise and Shine. The book was published in 2018 by Forbes Books. The book was written after he featured in an issue of Forbes, and it became the magazine's best-selling edition in Africa, that it had to be reprinted 4 times. The book, Africa Rise and Shine, paints the picture of his humble beginning from the small town of Agbo in Delta State, and against all odds, pushed through to become a global business icon, while providing insight on how to conquer challenges in African markets, taking advantage of the opportunities. The man, Jim Ovier, is a firm believer of Africa being a continent abundant with natural and human resources. He has constantly pitched the continent as a land filled with investment opportunities in international business forums such as the Harvard Business School Annual Africa Business Conference, Bloomberg Global Business Forum, Commonwealth Business Forum, and the World Economic Forum, where he has been invited to participate and even deliver keynote address. Jim Ovier remains one of the pride of Africa and a great contributor to Nigeria's economy and the financial landscape in Africa.
human achievements, goal setting, hard work, and dedication have been proven to be some of the elements towards success. The journey of remarkable individuals with lasting impact on the world are often filled with manifold stories, but through determination, they build their lives and make extraordinary contributions. Join me on the story of a trailblazer in business and philanthropy, Aiboje Ag Mokwede, a lawyer turned banker who has done well for himself, made an indelible mark within the banking sector, and has continued in his ambition of touching lives within Nigeria and across Africa. Aiboje Ag Mokwede. Within the Nigerian business space and philanthropy, few names resonate and are respected profoundly. Such is Aiboje Ag Mokwede. If you're just watching, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great documentaries. Like, share, and comment. Known as a successful business mogul, banker, investor, and a philanthropist who cares about making difference, Ige Mokwede's story is one of hard work, creativity, and a desire to drive positive change across Africa. Born to civil service parents on September 24, 1966, in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria, he hails from Sabongida Ora, Edo State. Aiboje spent his formative years with his parents in Lagos, where he had his primary education at St. Saviour's School. He enrolled into Federal Government College, Kaduna, and at age 16, he was admitted to study law at the University of Benin, where he graduated at a young age of 19 with a law degree, displaying early signs of his exceptional intellect and drive. Called to the Nigerian bar in 1987, he started his career in 1988 as a lawyer at Continental Merchant Bank during his National Youth Service Corps NYSC year. In 1991, he joined Guarantee Trust Bank PLC GT Bank, where he rose to prominence as an executive director. His big moment came in 2002 when he led the acquisition of Access Bank, turning it from a small regional bank into a big player, a banking powerhouse in the industry. Throughout his career, Ike Mokwede has taken on different leadership roles, including Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Access Bank until December 2013. He later became President of the Nigerian Stock Exchange and retired in 2017, but remains on the National Council. Bowing out of Access Bank, he was given a befitting send-off.
No man or combination of men could transform what we met in Access Bank in 2002 into what would cause this type of people to come and celebrate today. It's not possible.
His foresight and managerial acumen have brought him chairmanship and directorial roles in prominent organizations such as African Finance Corporation, Associated Discount House Limited, Petrolon Energy, among others, thereby contributing greatly to their growth and sustainability. work, they say, pays. Aigboje Mokwede's hard work earned him many awards and honors. He received the National Productivity Order of Merit Award in 2009, conferred with Commander of the Order of the Niger CON in 2011 by the then President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, during his administration for contributing to banking and finance. As a visionary leader, he was installed into the E&Y World Entrepreneurs Hall of Fame in 2011 as the EY West Africa Entrepreneur of the Year and named African Banker of the Year in 2013. These amounting to how much others values his leadership and ideas. He got honored by Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers of Nigeria. Beside his work, Aige Mokwede also gives back to society. This philanthropist is involved in efforts to improve governance and healthcare across Africa through his Aige Mokwede Foundation, making a positive impact on people's life. He initiated the Adopt a Healthcare Facility program in 2019, and he is the chairman of ABC Health and director of the Private Sector Health Alliance of Nigeria. He is the founder of chairman of Coronation Capital Limited since 2015 and has contributed to the growth of the Coronation ecosystem. Coronation Capital Limited, with other arms of its businesses, also bettered Coronation Art Gallery in Lagos on the 13th of May 2022, a platform for showcasing exceptional works of art that embodied the essence of cultural significance and artistic expression. Aigboje Mokwede founded Coronation Art Gallery with the vision of democratizing art, foster appreciation and understanding for the artistic world, and making it accessible to a wider audience.
Bumi Augusto is, I knew Bumi when she was born. I know her parents, and I know all her siblings. She's a beautiful, wonderful, gifted Nigerian artist, and just like many of the others here. The piece behind me is a triptych, long throats, all up to longer throats. I actually thought that I was going to caption this collection. You know, this is really a microcosm of my entire collection, but I was going to capture it longer throats because this represents a lot of this collecting I did during COVID. Many of these pieces actually were not in Nigeria. I brought them home. I'll tell you something. I'm known for collecting masters, you know, the Enwonwus and the Yusuf Grillos and so on. I still do, okay? And I kind of stuck to that genre of classic. Those are the people who, when I was growing up, as I told you, those are the people who were my parents, either just older than them or contemporaries. So I grew up knowing these artists as my uncles, okay? So my first collecting was, you know, from works, you know, done by masters like that. After a while, you know, these works are really priced in. But Bumi Augusto, you know, her works, you know, which may appear even a bit pricey now, in 10 years' time, you know. So this is also hosted by Coronation, which are companies that are all about wealth creation. So there's also the investment angle. I don't collect for investments, but, you know, with all that these great Nigerian and African artists, the young ones, have been doing, and the way their prices have been rising, you know, I've got to focus on investments now.
He collaborated with the Nigerian Civil Service to digitalize work processes and public service delivery in October 2021. Recognizing 43 public servants at the 2022 Civil Service Award ceremony on behalf of the Aige Mokwede Foundation with an encouragement of cash prize worth 500,000 naira for each awardees.
It is my understanding that annually 43 public servants will be recognized in this fashion, and so with effect from the 2022 Civil Service Awards ceremony, on behalf of the Aige Mokwede Foundation, we will be putting an endowment with effect from this award session, whereby each awardee receives a cash prize of 500,000 naira. And in the interest of digital culture, the credits will go directly to your accounts.
Among his many certifications, affiliations, and fellowships, Ige Mokwede holds Triumph MBA from the London School of Economics, New York University, and HEC Paris. He attended an executive management program at Harvard Business School in the year 2000, and he is a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, also appointed to the International Advisory Board of Oxford University's Blavatnik School of Government. Ige Mokwede is a honorary fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria and had received an honorary doctorate of science from Olabisi Onabanjo University in 2018. Also honored by Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers of Nigeria last year in a groundbreaking ceremony.
If the operators of our markets, of a nation's capital markets, are properly resourced in terms of skill, capacity, and conduct, nothing can stop that nation and its citizens from leaving the tarmac and moving from third world to first world. Nothing can stop it. The correlation between the advancement of financial markets and the advancement of national economies is perfect. It's not almost, it is perfect. And so, you understand why I have tied myself to the future of this market and why I have tried from the very word go that my voice was heard to get the public sector and the elite within the private sector to understand that we cannot ignore this market.
Aiboje is the first African co-chairman of the Global Business Coalition on Health and chairman of the Friends of the Global Fund, Africa. The business mogul has made significant donations to the Global Fund. He is the vice chairman of the Global Citizen Nigeria and creator of the Nigerian Solidarity Support Fund. There is always a story, or say many stories, behind every success, and this Ige Mokwede has shared in a book called Leaving the Tarmac, Buying a Bank in Africa, Red Door 2020. In it, he talked about how he and others turned Access Bank into a major success, showing his determination and vision.
On a personal note, I think the first thing is that I left Access Bank. I retired as CEO in 2013, and I knew that I needed time off just to recharge my battery, so to speak. I didn't think I would have more than a year and a half before my perpetual motion character, kind of took over once again. And so I wanted to use that period as productively as possible. So I had a year and a half, and what better to do in a year and a half, than write a book. And for me, it was an opportunity, for posterity to tell the story to my children in a structured sense, because before then, I just hadn't had the opportunity to sit down with my kids and say, this is what I did today, or this is what I did yesterday, and these are the highs and the lows of this journey. Herbert and I went through a hell of an experience between 2002 and 2013. And for him, that experience has continued. We learned so much. We were exposed to so many things. We had really, really great mountains that we climbed. We scaled some pretty high heights and so on. And in a sense, it would be very selfish of us to lock this up in a box and not share it with others, because I think our experience, can be used by any other person who has an ambition to go out there and do, whatever it is they seek, whatever it is they dream about. And so the notion of writing for posterity and recording this period in my life, and probably more important, the notion of preparing a way for others, you know. Those are the things that drove me to write the book.
Ig Imokwede, former managing director of Access Bank Group, returns to lead Access Holdings, replacing Abubakar Jimo. His return after a decade aims to realize the shared vision of the late co-founder, Herbert Wigwe. Access Holdings PLC, trading under the Access Corp ticker on the Nigerian exchange, began to feel Iboje's progressive impact as its stock value increased by 1.52% following his appointments as chairman. Iboje Ig Imokwede is back again. Ig Imokwede is married to Ofovwe Ig Imokwede and has 4 children, namely Ohiozoje, Aima, Morenike, and Renown. He has been able to balance his family life with his professional achievements, setting an example as a leader and role model to many. He is an ordained minister of the Promised Land Ministry. In the annals of Nigerian business history, his story stands out, showcasing the power of vision, perseverance, and giving back to the community. From his humble beginnings to global recognition, he inspires others to dream big and make a difference. His legacy remains as he continues to make strides in business and philanthropy.
Broad Street. Broad Street, situated in Lagos Island, is steeped in Nigerian history. Once the biggest financial hub of the country, it housed the headquarters of major banks, linked to CBN, the stock exchange, and the loads of lender companies. Broad Street is a historically significant street. It has played a central role in the development of Lagos and history, an important commercial and administrative center for the British colonial authorities. It was also a home to some of the city's earliest modern buildings. Broad Street was a residential area in the pre-colonial era. With the British came the Methodist Boys High School in 1878 and the Broad Street Prison in 1882, renamed Freedom Park. The General Hospital, which was a British military hospital, was built in 1893, being the first general hospital in Nigeria. The old British Secretariat building, which is now the Federal Ministry of Justice, was built in 1906. Broad Street has seen a full turn into modern commercial office blocks, complexes, skyscrapers, and markets from the outer marina through Akpombo, early into the Adeliji-Adele Road. Broad Street is one of the busiest streets in Nigeria on weekdays, where commercial activities take place day and night. From modern buildings to ancient structures, this street gives one a raw dose of life in Lagos. Broad Street is often referred to as Lagos Financial District. It boasts a mix of architectural styles, reflecting its long history, colonial-era buildings, Victorian and Edwardian architectural features, alongside more modern skyscrapers and structures. Broad Street remains a vital, vibrant part of the Nigerian economy. Broad Street. Souq Enlightenment.
My name is Shino Gbadegeshin. I'm the CEO of Gozi Micro Insurance. Continue to watch Souq News.
Adenike Adeyemi, Executive Director of Faith Foundation. Keep watching Souq News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch Souq News TV.
Hey everyone, Majuli Obaje here representing Gigi. Keep watching Souq News, okay? Stay updated with Souq News.
My name is Aton Kame. I am the head of MSME banking. Please keep watching Souq News and stay glued to Souq News.
I recommend that more and more people should watch Souq News because they deal with business news.
Hi, my name is Amaka Wokolo. I am the director of the Faith Institute at Faith Foundation. Keep watching Souq News.
Optimism is a strategy for making a better future because unless you believe that the future can be better, you are unlikely to step up and take responsibility for making it so. Responsibility is the price of greatness. How else can one explain the thought process of a 24-year-old youth leaving the luxurious comforts in the United States to fill in for his incarcerated father in sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria, and run a family business holding the fort till stability was achieved? This is the story of Abdul Samad Rabiu, an unassuming, silent achiever. Abdul Samad Rabiu attended Capital University, Columbus, Ohio, and returned to Nigeria to oversee the family business when his father, Ishaku Rabiu, was detained by the administration of General Muhammadu Buhari for allegedly not paying the rice report duties. Not only was his father under investigation, the family business was under scrutiny. These harsh realities of being thrust right into the middle of it all shaped the young man's resolve to hard work in silence. Abdul Samad Rabiu is the son of one of Nigeria's foremost industrialists, late Khalifa Ishaku Rabiu, founder of Ishaku Rabiu and Sons Group, a family-operated holding company with a history of investment in manufacturing, insurance, banking, and real estate. In the 1970s, the group invested in manufacturing, with its first investment being the Kano Suits and Packaging Cases Company, a factory producing suitcases and handbags. In 1972, the Bagauda Textile Mill, manufacturing woven clothes for uniforms, importing and trading in different segments of the economy, including frozen food service, sugar, and a motor vehicle and parts distribution company specialized in Daihatsu products. Abdul Samad Rabiu was born with a very big silver spoon in the ancient city of Kano on the 4th day of August in 1960, 57 days to Nigerian independence. 24 years later, responsibility beckoned. He was in the family business till 1988. Abdul Samad Rabiu, following in the steps of the family business, established BUA Bois International Limited in 1988. Solely for commodity trading, Bois International Limited imported rice, edible oil, flour, iron, and steel. The much-needed wins to his sale came in 1990. The government, owners of the Dettol Steel Company, got into a contract with Bois to supply its raw materials in exchange for finished products. This was the young company's much-needed windfall. Bois expanded further into steel, producing pellets, importing iron ore, and constructing multiple rolling mills in Nigeria. Nigerian Oil Mills Limited, the largest edible oil processing company in Nigeria, was sadly bought by Bois in 2005. Bois started 2 flour milling plants in Lagos and in Kano. By 2008, Bois had broken an 8-year monopoly in the Nigerian sugar industry by commissioning the second largest sugar refinery in sub-Saharan Africa. In 2009, the company went on to silently acquire a controlling stake in a publicly listed cement company in northern Nigeria, Sokoto Cement, and began to construct a $900 million cement plant in Ogu Obela, Edo State, completed and commissioned in 2015. which is at that time the single largest non-oil investment in South Nigeria, and had a capacity of 6 million metric tons per annum upon completion of the second line. This was followed by a new 1.5 million metric tons line in Sokoto in 2018 and another 3 million metric ton line which commenced in 2020 and was commissioned in 2022, bringing the total installed capacity for his cement holdings to 11 million metric tons as of January 2022. Abdul Samad Rabiu is very entrenched with his family in business, having over 40 siblings. His younger brother, Rabiu Ishaku Rabiu, was the CEO of IRS Airlines Limited, an airline based in Abuja, Nigeria. It operates scheduled domestic passenger services. Its main base was Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. The airline was established in 2002 and started operations in March 2002 and ceased operations in 2013. Kabiru Rabiu, our younger brother, currently serves as the Group Executive Director of BUA Group. In 2020, Kabiru was named the Best African Economic Leader under the age of 40 in the 100 African Economic Leaders for Tomorrow Awards by the French Institute, Chausseo. BUA invested $300 million in a 20,000 hectares Lafiaji Sugar Estate project, which comprises a sugar mill, sugar refinery, ethanol processing plant, and 35 megawatts power plant. The company also built an export-focused refinery in Port Harcourt, the only destination sugar refinery in sub-Saharan Africa. Abdul Samad Rabiu is constructing a 200,000 barrels per day petrochemicals refinery in Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. The agreement was signed with Access of France in August 2020 for the refinery aimed at serving Nigeria and the West African petroleum refining needs. It is expected to be completed and operational by 2025. The privately owned Omu Ogbela Cement Company was in January 2020 merged with the publicly listed Cement Company of Northern Nigeria, where Abdul Samad Rabiu already held a controlling stake in the $3.3 billion transaction, and BUA Cement PLC was born. Abdul Samad consolidated all his food businesses in sugar, edible oils, rice, flour, and pasta milling into a new company, BUA Foods PLC. In December 2021, it was listed on the Nigerian exchange. BUA Foods emerged as a consumer goods leader in market capitalization, experiencing a phenomenal 206% year-to-date appreciation. Share prices soared from 65 naira per share in December 2022 to the current value of 379.9 naira per share as of 24th March 2024. In terms of fundamentals, BUA Foods exhibited robust financials with a 54% increase in profits to 105.6 billion naira in the first 9 months of 2023. Revenue witnessed an impressive 80.95% year-on-year growth, reaching 524.428 billion naira, and return on average equity stood at 43.42%. Despite challenges, Rabiu strategically increased his direct shares in BUA Cement by 56.37%, totaling 96.12% ownership. This move, executed on June 26, 2023, demonstrates Rabiu's confidence in his company's future growth. BUA Foods PLC and BUA Cement PLC companies are among the top 10 most valuable publicly listed companies in sub-Saharan Africa. From a relatively small company in 1988, BUA Group has grown to a world-class conglomerate, contributing significantly to the country's GDP while providing employment opportunities for tens of thousands of Nigerians. Abdul Samad Rabiu's philanthropy is silently second to none. He founded the Abdul Samad Africa Initiative, ASR Africa, an African-focused fund for social development and renewal which seeks to support Nigeria and other African countries in the area of health, education, and social development. In October 2022, Abdul Samad Rabiu, through ASR Africa, donated $500,000 to the United States Agency for International Development, partner on tuberculosis control, HIV, and gender-based violence prevention efforts in Nigeria. Development of a 7.5 billion naira 200-bed specialist hospital in Kano State during the global COVID-19 pandemic. Abdul Samad Rabiu championed Nigeria's donation to this COVID-19 intervention by a single individual or corporate donating, amongst other things, 1.35 billion naira to the COVID private sector coalition, 300 million naira to the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, over 1 billion naira in cash donations to 10 state governments across the country, 70 ambulances, medical equipment, face masks, provision of foodstuffs for over 1.5 million persons in Kano, Lagos, and Rivers States. ASR Africa Initiative donated a 4 billion naira police hospital in Abuja and donated 1 billion naira each for 6 universities across Nigeria through the ASR Africa Tertiary Education Grants Scheme for infrastructural development. The beneficiaries of the 6 billion naira tertiary education grant schemes are Ahmadu Bello University, University of Ibadan, University of Maiduguri, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, University of Ilorin, and the University of Benin. ASR Africa Initiative also donated 2.5 billion naira each through its tertiary healthcare development grants for health projects across 4 geopolitical zones in the country. These are in addition to 5 billion naira donated to build the first teaching hospital in Akwa Ibom State, donated 10 billion naira to the Security Support Fund of the Nigerian government. Abdul Samad Rabiu was awarded the 2022 CEO of the Year at the African CSR Awards, 2016 African Industrialist of the Year Awards by the All African Business Leader Awards, the 2022 Sun Man of the Year Awards, 2020 Vanguard Business Person of the Year, and the New Telegraph Philanthropist of the Year 2021, a recipient of several honorary doctorate degrees from various universities, including